Hey guys, thank you for joining me this morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time you're able to check the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, guys, just thanks for all your likes, all your comments on my videos, all the shares on the videos. I recently had started posting some of the YouTube videos onto Facebook, and for the guys that have shared those on there, I appreciate each and every one of those shares as well. I just wanted to hop on here. We're going to do a video today on repair and restoration on another one of those knives out of that bundle from Whatnot. And the one we're going to work on today is this little guy here. It's pretty beat up. It's a Kent, New York City. And we're going to work on trying to get it cleaned up and see if we can get that looking a little bit better. I don't know how great it's going to turn out, but worst case scenario, it'll be a nice little user for everyday carry. So again, guys, I'm thankful for each and every one of you here, and I hope y'all enjoyed the video today. All right, guys, so today we're going to be working on this knife out of the box of, or out of that package of misused toys, I guess, from Whatnot. And this one here is a Kent from, it says, looks like New York City, USA. So we're going to work on getting this one clean today. And there's a little bit of separation at the scales, so I'll end up trying to put some adhesive or something back down in there, some glue or something, epoxy, get that to stick back down. But main thing is going to be getting a lot of this rust and build up off. I know the inside of the well needs to be clean, but this is definitely an older knife. You can tell by the can opener on it, but it's just covered in rust and years of just dirt and debris. So we're gonna get this guy cleaned up, and hopefully when we're done it's gonna look 100 times better. But again, guys, thank y'all for being here. I'm gonna go ahead and get my tools ready, and I'll be back shortly. So once again, we're gonna start off with the Dremel and the steel brush, and we just want to go over the blades lightly, get a lot of that surface rust off. And it looks like there's a lot of life left in the blade. It's so dirty. Once we get a lot of this rust off, we'll see how bad the pitting is on it. We'll get this blade sanded out like we did the last one, and hopefully get it to a usable state. And just like on the last one, guys, when you're using the steel brush, be careful around the handle material, especially, if it's like on the green one or this, that synthetic, plastic, whatever it is, this metal brush can eat it up pretty quick. But I'm going to keep on working on these blades, go ahead and get them all cleaned off with the steel brush. And once I get that done, I'll hop back on and we'll start going through the process of cleaning the rest of the stuff. So give me just a few minutes to knock this out and I'll be back. All right, guys, so we have that initial cleaning of the blades done. We got off most of the surface rust. It looks like there might be, some minor pitting in there, but once we actually come back and sand the blade, we'll see what it actually takes off. I will have to probably do a little bit of repair on this blade. It's got a little nick in it right here, as you can tell. So I might have to come back and reshape that as well as the tip of the blade. But overall, I think if it continues to clean up like it is, I think it'll be a decent knife, at least for a user. It does have plenty of life left. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start working on the outside on the scales with the steel brush. And again, be super careful when you're around the synthetic material. You don't want to burn that or gouge it any more than it already is. But I'll clean off the bolsters first, and then I'll switch over to a soft brush, and I'll come back and use some of that CLP on it with the soft brush to kind of clean those plastic scales. Want to make sure you're getting the back of those blades and tools, springs. And due to the can opener, guys, I would probably put this Kent probably maybe 30s or 40s. I'm not super familiar with the Kent knives, but I know a lot of the can openers had changed around the 40s or 50s. But if any of you guys know for sure, please comment down below. I'm always into learning a little bit more about some of the knives that I work on. So this is what they're looking like initially. I'm gonna go ahead and get the Dremel changed out, the head, and get my soft head on it. That way we can start cleaning up some of these scales. So give me just a few minutes and I'll be back. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and just spray a little bit of this CLP on here and just rub it around in there. I like it because it has some cleaning properties in it. We'll just spread that around on that synthetic portion. I mean, obviously it's not gonna hurt it. But I changed the head out on my Dremel. This is like a nylon type brush, and we're just going to do the same process that we did on the metal, but we're going to use this nylon brush on the scales, get down in those jig grooves and get out some of that built up dirt and rust that had accumulated on there over the years. And I guess the shield eventually had fell out somewhere. I'm not sure. Don't know if I will replace it with anything. I might try to see if I have something I can put in there of my own once I'm done with this. But I started to kind of like these older camp style knives. I mean, and they're always a great little thing. If you take the time, clean them up, you could always throw them in a little bag or something, or your tackle box for when you're fishing or camping or something like that. So we're just going to clean that up a little bit with that oil and the nylon brush, and then I'll come back and just kind of wipe it down. I mean, and that already looks a lot better than it did. And the next thing we'll do is we'll clean out the well, and we'll do that by throwing some of the cleaner in it. And I like to start with a screwdriver, just run it along there, break up some of that stuff. These older knives like this, they'll have so much lint and everything else in them that, it'll affect the snap of the knife, and it gets built up here on the base of the tang and things like that. So I just try to scrape that with my screwdriver, and I'll dump it out. And then again, like I showed y'all, I'll take and stuff my towel down in there, just kind of wipe it out a little bit. Get some of that initial dirt out. But I'm gonna go ahead, take a slight break, get me something to drink and stuff, and I'll come back here in just a bit, and we'll go ahead and sand on the inside, clean out that well real well, and then hop on the blades. All right, guys, so back. Gonna go ahead and take our sandpaper and just run along the inside of that well, and we're gonna get that all cleaned out real good. Try to get a lot of that build-up dust off the sides of the liners. And we're gonna get that cleaned out real good, guys. That way, anything that might have been in there impeding the normal function of those blades, and get most of that stuff out. And then I like to spray a little bit more oil in there. And again, I'm just going to take my rag, stuff it down in there, just kind of wipe it out. get any of that stuff up. And as you can tell, that well's already a lot cleaner. So now I'm going to get all my sanding paper out, get it ready, and we're going to start sanding on the blades and the exterior of the knife again, like we did on that Ideal. So just stick around, guys. We'll be back shortly. All right, guys, so I have my stack of sandpaper there, and I'm going to go ahead and get my piece of wood out. I'm gonna go ahead and close some of these other blades. And just like before, I'm gonna start out at roughly 400 grit and just gently start sanding the blade down to get some of that build up. And it's gonna take off some of the patina, but there's still gonna be a decent amount left. I always like to hit the back of the blade. And then from there, I'm just going to continue to work my way up, and I'm going to go ahead and knock out the rest of the blades. I'm going to work my way up from 4 and 600 all the way up to probably 1200 on the blades. But I will check back with you guys towards the end when I'm closer to being done. All right, so we've worked our way up to 1200. This is probably about where I'm gonna stop as far as the sanding on the blades. I really don't want a mirror finish on these. They're older knives, and I like to keep some of that patina visible. So we're just gonna go ahead, run over that with the 1200. And it's already took a lot of those imperfections that were on there as far as the rust goes off. There are some darker spots still. Pitting is not too bad on it, really. A lot better than I thought it would be. But I'm gonna go ahead and work on sanding the tools on here, the can opener, bottle opener, and the screwdriver. And once I get these done, we'll come back, look at that, and start on the exterior. All right, guys, sorry about that. My phone cut off for some reason. So got all the blades sanded. I went to about 1200 grit on all of them. It took off a lot of that stuff, but still a decent looking patina on there. So now we're gonna move forward. Definitely gonna have to work on oiling this a little bit and reprofile that blade. The other two have good snap, but this one's kind of just a push to. But just like before, I'm gonna start here on the outside with that 400 grit, just lightly sand over these plastic scales. I don't want to take off a ton of material from the scales, especially because the way it is compared to that other one. The other one was just clamshells, where this one is actually pinned on. So I don't want to risk breaking anything or damaging anything. That way I have to replace all the scales completely. So I'm just going to run over the bolsters and the scales, and then over the back, a lot of that stuff, show that liner. And then again, guys, I'm gonna go on and work ahead to save you guys from sitting here watching a 45-minute to an hour-long video. So I'll check back in here in a little bit whenever I've gotten up maybe to 800 or 1000 grit. Depending on how the bolsters look, we might go on up to 3000 or 5000 on them, but we'll see what the transition looks like at about 1500 or 2000. So stick around, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, guys, so we've sanded the whole exterior of the knife. for a while now. Currently on 2000 grit, and I don't know if I'm going to mirror polish these or not. I think we probably stop on the outside at the 2000 grit. I like the way that it looks without the mirror finish on this one, because it looks a little bit more rustic. It's a little bit more worn than that ideal that we had done, and so I think that the 2000 grit will be just fine for these. It'll get them a nice, almost like a brushed stainless look. And this rag and wipe it down a little bit, get some of that dust off of it, kind of check our progress. So this is where we're at with it so far as the blades go and the exterior of the knife. Definitely is going to have a little bit more oiling and cleaning on the inside, but also, guys, I need to fix this here where it keeps popping up. So what I like to use for that, guys, depending, sometimes I have the bonding material is the A6000 or something like that. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but I also like to use this Gorilla contact adhesive, the clear. It works amazing. I've never had any issues with any of the scales coming back off of a knife when I've used this to help hold them down. These scales are held on by one pin in the center on each side. It's just those ends have started to kind of peel back and separate themselves from there. You can see a little bit of light in between them. So I'm gonna try to get some adhesive down in there and clamp this and hold it back together, and hopefully it'll be able to secure that back onto it without any problems. So I'm going to try to do that, and once I get that done, we'll check back in a little bit because I need to get the glue under there and let it sit for a little while to cure. So I will be back in a little while. Hope you guys enjoyed so far, and y'all stick around for the rest of the video. All right, guys, so real fast, I was moving the scales that way I could get some of the adhesive on them, and I noticed what's holding these on other than the pin. If you look, it's got a couple little teeth right here. One of them actually looks like it's broken off on this side. Both of them look like they're here on this side, but I think they're just kind of bent out of place. So I'm going to work on trying to bend them back. Still going to get some of the adhesive under here and get these cleared off. You can kind of see where they just kind of stuck in there. So we're going to get them cleaned off, get it glued up, and get it all put back together. And once I get all that ready and it's had time to cure, we'll check back and see what the condition looks like after that. All right, guys, so we've got the scales back on there, got it all cleaned out underneath and got it glued down. I couldn't find my other little clamps, so I'm having to use 2 sets of vice grips. If you choose to do that, just be very careful. You don't want to squeeze down too hard and crack the scales. So now I'm just going to let these sit for a little while, let that adhesive fully cure. I might have to come back over it and sand off any of it that has squeezed out the sides onto the blades or anything like that. But once we get that done and it's all set up and cured, we'll come back and finish the rest of the knife. All right, guys, so we're back with this guy. I let it sit and cure overnight. I just wanted to make sure that it bonded well and that everything stayed. As you can see, now the scales are pinned down nice. There's no little cracks in between that and the knife. So I think that's going to work pretty well. Seems pretty solid. All we got to do now is we're going to go ahead and clean this inside out a little bit better. And for this, I'm using a 320 grit sandpaper. Just wanted to get as much of that buildup in there as possible. See a little bit of that stuff coming out, but definitely cleans that up. And these two smaller tools have really good snap. This blade still got some work to do. I think there might still be some stuff down in there, so we'll work on trying to oil that. But this is where we're at. I'm going to hop on over. I went ahead and reprofiled the blade. It had a big chip right here, and then the tip was messed up, so I went ahead and reprofiled that. We'll have to put an edge on it possibly during this video. It might be something I save for later. But I'm gonna go ahead and put some oil on it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put some oil and stuff on the exterior of the knife, and we'll check back here in a few minutes. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and use some of this Mil-Spec CLP. Gonna go ahead and spray a little bit down in there. And just kind of work it back and forth into that pivot point right there around the pin and all. It's already getting a little bit more snap open. I think there's just still a lot of buildup in there, that rust and stuff that's settled over the past few years. Still not so much closing, but just getting a little bit more snap open. But we'll let that sit a little bit. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead, take my mink oil, and just go ahead and coat this exterior on the plastic, since we did do some sanding on it. Just kind of revive it a little bit. And it is okay to put it on that back spring. This is good. I use this a lot, not only for my knives, but my boots and stuff. I use it to weatherproof my boots. It's just a real good product. Again, I do use some of the blade waxes and knife butter and some of that stuff. But this is what I have on hand right now. So I'm gonna let this sit on here for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and wipe it off and check and see how this blade is doing. All right, it's been about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm gonna come back and just go ahead and wipe this real good with this microfiber rag, kind of get all that oil off the outside from that mink oil. Go ahead and wipe it down. And even though it's plastic, like I said, guys, it gives it a nice little shine. Haven't decided what to do about this little shield yet, but this is about it for this knife. Not a whole lot left for me to do on it without actually taking it apart. Might look around here and see if I have anything to make me another bail with. But thank you guys for sticking around. I know it was a longer video, but I'm happy to have you guys here. And I think this is going to be a nice little user. If anybody's interested in it, feel free to comment down below. But I don't think I'll list this one for sale, just because it's missing a shield there and it's missing the bail. I try to usually post things for sale that are in good shape. This is in good shape, but it's not in a shape that I'd probably sell it on eBay or anything for. But if any of you guys are interested in it, just let me know. I'm always open to trades and different things like that. But while we're here, a couple more I have that I'm going to probably be working on here coming up pretty soon is I have this vintage Ward's. It was part of the line done for the Montgomery Ward store. So I'm going to work on this one here coming up. I think this one will clean up pretty nice, and it's got those celluloid handles. It's got the easy pull on the side. So I'm going to be working on that one. Still got pretty decent snap. This one here is a vintage Camco. So I'll probably work on this one here in the future. It's a little 2-blade as well as the punch blade. If I can get it open here. It's hard to grip it with these gloves on. So that one's going to have some reshaping on that blade for sure. And then the next one I've got is this old camper. This one is also by the Ideal Knife Company. So I'm planning on working on it here in the near future. I also just recently got in 2 bucks. One is from the 70s to the early 80s, and the other one's a 2019. So I'm working on getting both of those cleaned up, and one of them may be up for sale here in the near future. So guys, thanks for sticking around. I know it was a long video, but I appreciate you guys hanging in there to the end. If there's anything that you ever see during one of the videos, just reach out, let me know. But again, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for all your likes, your subscribes to the channel, all your shares on the videos, and God bless you all. All right, guys, so that's the finished product. Came out okay, not as great as I'd like it for selling or anything like that, but it'll be an okay user. You know, sometimes they'll come out great, sometimes they don't, you know. But I'm okay with the way this one turned out considering the condition that it was in. But it'll definitely be something that can still be used daily. So guys, again, thank you for enjoying the video or watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And see you on the next one.